So hi, we're starting with the next topic, which is how to interpret FII and DII data to understand Nifty movement, right? We're going to understand the Nifty movement and the stocks movement, both. So to begin with, first we will understand how we interpret the data based on, what will be the movement of the Nifty based on the FII and DII data. So for that, what do? We go to the Google's browser once again and type FII DII data, right? And let's look into the activity bar graph only. Just the bar graph will help us in understanding it in a better way, but you can do any which way that you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to take whatever I get on the top. So on the top I have this FII DII data, and I would like to show you, how the data can be interpreted, right? So this is, wait a sec, I need to remove this. Yeah. So this is the data of FII DII. If you see here, the red color bars are basically FII bars, like what the foreign institutional investors have bought, and the yellow one is the DII data, means what is the domestic institutional investor doing, right? Before I go on, what are these DIIs and FIIs? So if you look into, FIIs are basically various mutual funds which basically are not Indian funds. For example, Morgan Stanley, or you have Goldman Sachs, or you have various other the pension funds from Canada. You have a lot of from Mauritius, France, UK, Singapore, US, Canada. All these countries invest believing in India's potential. So whenever the foreign investors invest, they are called FIIs, and DIIs are basically domestic institutional investors. So who are they? Basically, they are basically mutual funds, they are banking sectors, they are insurance companies, they are high net worth individuals. So these are basically DIIs. Now always remember one thing, let me make it a little bigger so that you can understand. So the red color that you see is basically the FII is buying or selling. If it is upward, it's buying. If it is below, it's selling. And DII is basically domestic institutional investors buying and selling. Now what happens, if you look into it, usually both of them are opposite to each other. Means the like the FII, let me call it F2 and this is D2, they're opposite to each other, right? If FIIs are buying, if FIIs are selling, then DIIs will buy, right? Usually it's like that, like if red one is here, the yellow is on the opposite side. Red is here, the yellow is on the other side. Or you look at some other place. If red is upward, the yellow is going to be downward. See here, red is upward and the yellow is in the downward direction, right? See here, all these yellows are up, all these reds are down, right? All these reds are down, all the yellows are up, all the yellows are up, all the reds are down, right? So what does it really indicate? I want to make you interpret this data, that whenever FII and DII are in the same direction, remember that they are both buying and they both are selling, indicates that the market will have the same direction. For example, FII, DII both are selling here, and see the market has come down, right? The market has come down. They both are experiencing weak sentiments towards buying. Similarly, see here, this particular big day, right? Both of them are buying, and see this blue color is nothing but the Nifty. Nifty has gone up from here. They both are still buying and the market is heading up, right? They both are still buying, but the market has gone down. This happens in the rare situation, right? This really happens. See here on this day also, when they both were selling, market had its lowest point at that time, right? So remember that what happens if both, I'm saying it's not absolutely 100% correct interpretation. This is my own personal interpretation. It can be, it can defy also sometime. and if there is a news, but remember, if both of them are in the same direction, if both are buying, if both of them are buying, right, see here, the both are buying, market is going up, right? They both are buying and the market is going up. Here also they are buying, here also they both are buying, and you can see the market is heading up. There's a bit of exception you can see here, like this, the both are selling. Of course it was the, you know, the lowest of the market, but the next day market went up, right? So what I'm trying to tell you here, out of 100 times, I would say 90 times this, you know, interpretation will work pretty good. And in stock market, it's a good amount of probability, because stock market is a place of probability. So if your probability is more than 0.9, then it's a very, very good probability. Now let's look at here, going up, going up, going up. Both of them are in the same direction. Market is heading up slowly, gradually. Market is heading up. They both are in the same direction. They both are in the same direction. Market has head up, right? So this is how you interpret FII DII data. And I have explained you who's FII, who are DII. I have explained you that. Like for example, if I look into DII, domestic institutional investors, it could be LIC, it could be Kotak Mahindra Bank, or Kotak Mutual Fund, or SBI Mutual Fund, or it is all these mutual funds, you know, the BlackRock Mutual Fund, whatever mutual funds you can think about, or Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, they are all DIIs. And FIIs, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. And if you find a name which you are not familiar with, you can just Google it and figure out, you know, whether it's an FII or DII or not, right? So this is an interpretation that you can, by and large, see fitting in well. If both of them are buying, FIIs and DIIs are buying, right? Then you can expect market to be heading up. But if both of them are selling, market seems to be heading down, right? So it's a general interpretation. It gives you at least one more support for the next day, right? How do you check it? I have told you on the Google's browser, just type FII DII activity or bar graph. You get on the top Trader's Cockpit, just launch into that and you will be able to figure out. And in general, you know, I would say this fits in pretty well. Now see here, this market is going down, right? So I believe that it works, you know, in most of the time it works, but I'm still saying that this is not a rule, you know, like this is my interpretation, my observation, and it sometimes fails also. Like I've seen so many ones it has failed also, right? I've seen in front of you so many cases it has failed also, right? So, but by and large, it's pretty, you know, indicative that the market will go up. Now see here, both of them are in the same direction. Like it's such a huge quantity, they both have bought, but the market has come down next day, right? They both are in the sell side, they both are in the sell side, and market is heading down, right? The volumes didn't really matter much. So whenever such a thing happens, you have to be careful about the news that may be, some news that may be, you know, there in the market, right? You need to be very, very, you know, alert about the market news, because those aberrations are basically governed by market news. So see here, market is going up. Like here it headed up, but then there was a dip also, maybe due to some news or something, and then it started going up further. So this is basically FII DII activity, right? This is for the whole year that I have discussed with you. What you see here is the daily graph, right? You see here monthly graph, right? You see here the monthly graph. You can go to the smaller time frame also and check what's happening in on a day in and day out basis. It actually works in all situations. Now see, this is basically, this is monthly graph, this is a yearly graph, and this one is on the top here is basically, I think it's a daily graph, right? Every day you get the data, 3rd May. Now see, if you want to see here as well, look at this data, negative, this data is also negative. This is 3rd of May. What happens after 3rd of May? Let me take you here. Let's see what happened on 4th of May. After 3rd May, what happened? What happened? So anyway, till it is coming, what I would like to do is here. So this is, let me put Nifty and let's see what happened on the 4th of May. So this is, this day is 2nd of May. This is 3rd of May. See, 4th of May market has come down, right? 4th of May market has come down. Both of them were negative. See here the data. FII is sold, even DII is sold, and the next day market was down, right? Say on 4th of May, FIIs were negative, selling, DIIs were buying. They are opposite to each other. Like you see here the color, you see here the color in these four, most of the times FIIs are selling and DIIs are buying, right? So there's always, they will be standing opposite to each other, right? And we need to understand the emotions. We will get a support in our trading, right? When we know that both of them are selling, means market is going to be down. When both of them are buying, means market is planning to go up. So this is how you interpret. And Nifty, like what I'm giving you right here is buying and selling by FI and DI and the movement of Nifty. So how you can interpret. And when you get this data, you get the data at about 5:30 or 6 in the evening. You don't get it during the day. So let me just repeat once again the whole thing. Write on your Google's browser, FII DII data, FII DII bar activity bar graph, and you get at the top traderscockpit.com. Just go there and watch the graph. It will give you the FII DII relative data, plus it's going to give you Nifty movement. And you can interpret from here by looking at if both FII and DII are buying, means market is planning to go up. If both of them are selling, means market is planning to go down, right? Just be careful, sometimes there is a news, it spoils everything. So news is something, no technical will work, nothing will work, no interpretation will work. So you have to be extremely, extremely careful when you are dealing with, when you are interpreting something and there's a news followed by it, right? So your observation has to be absolutely correct. Okay, combine your interpretation with news, then only you will be in this right direction. So here you can see buying by both and market is going up, right? You can see that, but they both bought it, FIs and DIs, and this blue color is Nifty, which has gone up. See here, it's heading up, right? Both of them buying, it went up, but the next day when even both bought, but it came down. So there are some aberrations. I'm not saying there are not many, but the ratio is very less. The ratio by which your trade will, like your interpretation will be incorrect, is very, very less, right, as compared to the correct interpretations, right? So if you are in the, if you see here, small amount of buying and small amount of selling and free. See, even on the next day there was a selling by both and the market has come down, right? So please observe it, make your own understanding, but this can help you in trading next day. If you know a day before what was the output, were they both positive or were they both negative, if you get to hear that and see, you know the direction of market, at least for short duration. So with this, we close off with this slide, which is how to interpret FII and DII data. Now we're going to go on to a Nifty's movement, right? This precisely I'm telling you about the Nifty's movement. If both the FII DII buy, Nifty will go up. If both of them sell it, Nifty will go down, right? And when I say Nifty, the entire market will replicate the whole thing. All right. So let me take you to the next slide, which is how to interpret FII, DII buying and selling to understand the stock movement, right? So here, what you have to do, you need to find out, it's exactly same as block and the bulk deal. There's no difference, but here you need to understand how FII and DII buying a particular stock or selling a particular stock, right? So the process is same. You need to find out the block deal, bulk deal, or the large deals. Block deals. Block deals on NSE you can find out, and usually the block deals happen on NSE, but there are, of course, there are some which happens on BSE as well. So we go here, nseindia.com, and you have to keep a track. When I'm going to teach you stockage application, you will get it directly, by clicking few knobs. You don't need to search here and there. Right, so let's go to NSE website and see how and where do we find, the data for the block and the bulk deal. So let me go here. This is, let's say 3 months, right? From date, it's okay, है ना? Bulk deals, we're looking at bulk deals. So let's see here the bulk deals. Now, do we find any FII, DII over here? No, we don't see anything here. Let me just and check something. So there are some funds here. KRK Mauritius PE Investment Limited. What do you think this is? This is basically an FII, Mauritius, KKR Mauritius PE Investment Limited, private equity investment, right? That means these are all FIIs. What are they doing? They're selling. Where are they selling? Coffee Day, right? Let's look into more. If I could get one or two more, we'll see and interpret what's happening in the stock after that. These are all individuals, Nilanchal. Right. So we are not being able to see here, but let's say we go to for bigger time period. Let's say we go to the 365 days and get data. Okay, so we have a longer list now. Let's see if I could find some India opportunity. See here, Sunrise Properties. Then we go here, Future Capital Investment. No, these are not. These are not. India Opportunities Growth Fund Limited. Right? What are they selling? They're selling future lifestyle fashion. Right? So from here, where are they exiting and where are they entering? Of course, you do not get the complete data, but broadly you get to hear which stock will they be entering, right? So here you can see Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley is entering into they're selling Greenlam Industries and they're selling IDSC Limited, right? So like this is, see here, Dish TV, they're selling, they're exiting. Dish TV, they were exiting, right? So we saw it in the previous sheets also, but how do I see, this is the way we find out generally, what's happening in the market. But if I want to see whether a stock has FII, DII, investment in them, how do we really check? I always go back to money control. Moneycontrol.com and look at, type anything. Let me take up Philips Carbon, or let me take an example of HEG, or let me take up an example of Kotak Mahindra Bank. These are highly enriched by FII, DII investment. So let me just take you there and show you step by step where do you find the mutual fund investment in these companies. So let me first talk about HEG. What's happening to my computer? So we want to see, what's happening in HEG. Let me just hold it for a second. So anyway, data, I need to find out HEG. There is some challenge I'm facing right now. HEG, right? Let's see what comes up. HEG. So see what happens, people like you and me do not have approach to much, like huge amount of data. So what we really do is we just write on the research of FIIs and DIIs, right? So one of the ways that you just keep tracking the deals on the NSE, and the second, of course, that's one way, only and only way, one way. But I'm going to make it very simple. First, you need to understand, then I'll make it very, very simple for you to interpret the FII DII data. Now let's go to the HEG and see what's happening here. The computer has slowed down somehow. I think a lot of stuff is here, so I'm going to close a bit of it so that we get a little faster. So we are going to HEG now, right? Oh my god, this is on Money Control website, and I have typed here HEG and I've come to the page of HEG. Now let's see, where do you see, what's happening. This is very, very important area for us, right? So you can go through the corporate actions, what are they doing, quarterly results and everything, right? 8th May they have given their final results and they were very, very good. Then you can come to dividends. When are the dividends going to be declared? So they have given one, dividend they have given on 6th of February. They have given a dividend, and then bonus, all the detail that you want, right? So they have not given any. They have given 1:1 bonus. Long back. Right now there is nothing. Right, splits. Let's see if the stock has split into any parts. No split information available. Let's go to the financials of a company, of this company, right? So when I'm going to be teaching you this, then I'm going to talking about it. Right now we're going to go to the shareholding pattern, right? This is the shareholding pattern. Always remember that the promoter's sharehold has to be more than 50%, right? They have to believe and trust in their product, right? And then this is the place where you see the public shareholding. Mutual funds. How many mutual funds are having holding in HEG? 20 of them. Financial institutions, 9 of them. Insurance companies, 4 of them. Qualified foreign investors, 44 of them, right? In all, there are 77 companies which have invested in HEG, right? Now let's do one more thing. We go to the mutual fund holding. From here you get to see whether the holding is increasing or decreasing, right? So some of them exited in December 17 quarter. Let me take you to another stock, right? Philips Carbon. You look into the Philips Carbon here. Go to the mutual funds, go to the shareholding patterns. Then you go to the mutual funds and you will see beautifully, all of them are increasing slowly, gradually their stake in, this particular stock. Latest quarter, they have all increased. So many mutual funds have increased their stake in this particular stock, right? That makes it they believe that the stock holds a great future. Let me show you Jufic Bio. Now, Jufic Biosciences, again, you go to the shareholding pattern, then you go to the mutual funds. And see here, this is how it is, right? Many mutual funds have increased their stake. Like 2 SBI mutual funds have exited, but other SBI mutual funds have increased their stake in this particular stock, right? Now, I have given this stock to you people on YouTube also. So let me take you to bulk deal. So when did the bulk deal happen? You can see here buy for so many mutual funds. You can see from here 18th May, right? SBI mutual funds, 18th May. I showed you yesterday also that I gave 18th May, the buying was done by the mutual funds, but I gave an entry on this stock on 23rd of May. Please remember the reason. Can you all tell me the reason? I'm sure you all remember the reason. The reason is that the stock cools down. Once a huge amount of buying comes in, after that stock cools down for a few days. When it cools down, that is when you need to enter into it, not before that, right? Not before that. First, you need to wait for the stock to give you a signal, and signal comes in the form of mutual funds buying and selling. And once you get that signal, you're going to enter into it only when you get this on a support, right? Only when you get the stock on a support, then only you will buy. Let me show you this stock, 𝐺𝐵. So somehow there is some problem with Zerodha. So here is 𝐺𝐵. Now it's not showing me the graph. So let me take you here only. I'm going to add 𝐺𝐵. And see here. Go to the day graph, 1 day graph. And remember I told you I gave this stock on 23rd of May, right? So this is our March, April, May. This was the day when I got it. Here, this is the day. Can you see at the bottom? Right at the bottom you can see this is 2016. We need to go to 2017, right? 2017 May, if you see, February, May, here. This was the day so many mutual funds bought it. So many of them. And the next 3 days, the stock just cooled down, and then I gave an entry at this point, right? Similarly, I want to show you Kotak Mahindra Bank, right? I want to show you Kotak Mahindra Bank, right? What is happening in Kotak Mahindra Bank? Kotak Mahindra Bank. Go to the Kotak Mahindra Bank's, shareholding pattern. So according to the rules of bank shareholding patterns, the promoter cannot have a stake more than 30%. So this is how the Uday Kotak Mahindra holds 30%. But who are the rest of stakeholders? There are 344 mutual funds. Huge amount of mutual funds have invested into it. Financial institutions, insurance companies, 104 insurance companies, qualified investors, 567. This is the biggest a fund, a stock which has got biggest attraction from all the investors. And you can see the growth of this stock, how it has gone up, how massively it has gone up. See here, this is 1 day graph of Kotak Mahindra Bank. It has been just heading up only. It is just unstoppable, right? Look at it. See from here, it's just heading up. There is no looking back, right? See from here. And where did I give it on YouTube? You remember? I remember it. I'll show you. Let me take you to Kotak Mahindra Bank, and here go to the mutual funds holding. See here, it's dominated by green color, right? Such a trusted stock. Look at it. It will go up. There is no other option for the stock to go. What a big list of mutual funds investment in this particular stock, right? Such a stock will make your life, like if you hold it. Then I want to show you its bulk deals. So see here, bulk deals, if you see here, 8th of March 2017, right? 22nd of May 2017. Who sold it? 𝐒𝐴𝐤𝐻 sold it, right? In both the cases, 𝐒𝐴𝐤𝐻 has sold it, and who has bought it? It's the Canada Pension Plan which has bought it, right? It has been bought by, see here, buying has been done precisely by all the FIIs, right? And if you go to YouTube, you know, this stock I gave on 14th of March. I remember it. I mean, I remember all details about the stocks that I have given. So see here, if you go to the videos, I will tell you I think it's the video number 47. People who have been watching my videos, they remember all these videos, you know, which video I talked about which stock. So they all are really, really, but entry matters a lot, you know. Entry matters a lot. Video number 47. Can you see here? I gave Kotak Mahindra Bank here on this day, right? This is 47th. I'll go to the 46th video. I'll show you the 46th video. I think this is 47. I entered into Kotak Mahindra Bank and Nifty. I think this is the day. Yeah. So I want to show you how and where I gave the entry. See, this is Kotak Mahindra. This is Nifty, right? Let's go and see what's happening where the Kotak Mahindra Bank begins. Here, right? Look at this day. Such a huge selling candle. Such a huge selling candle. And how much is the price here? If you see, at this day, the price is roughly about 835. If I take this as a value, and I gave this as a buy from my side, right? Now let's go here and see what's happening on that day. I'm talking about this day was which date? This is 14th of March. Let's go to the 14th of March and see what's happening over there. 14th of March 2017. Here. So let's look into it, you know. Here. This is 2000 March. This is 14th of March, right? Here you see here. This is the day I have given. The value is 835. And look at the price from here. Let me take a pen. You should see how it has moved up. Here it was, this is 14th of March, and look at this stock from 834. It has been just heading up, right? Vertically heading up, right? It's just been vertically heading up. So again, 834, 14th of March, here. It's just been heading up. Had somebody invested in this, it would have been 50% profit, and it's a future stock. It was an opportunity to mint money, right? So just by tracking FII DII activity, but you have to use your common sense, you have to use your correct interpretation of the data, and then you will be able to create correct positions, right? So this is Kotak Mahindra Bank, huge. And now see, if you want to analyze it technically also, stock went down, but then almost this 50 moving average is almost taking a support, right? And I would say 10 moving average crossed, 50 moving average crossed. When both of them crossed, this is the day 50 moving average is crossing. Can you see? I'll draw a vertical line, probably that will make you understand. Here. So on this day, if you see from here, right? If you see here, this is precisely a day, 14th of March, when the 50 moving average also crossed 200 moving average, right? And see here, beautifully stock has headed up, right? So put all your learnings and everything into place to create good trades, and such trades will never defy you. Take one lot of Kotak Mahindra Bank and it'll just mint money for you. Every day it'll mint money for you, right? So this is FII data for with respect to stocks. So please closely monitor stocks, good stocks, and keep looking at them and keep finding out where is FII DII is buying or selling. Right. Once you understand that, wait for the stock to cool down, and once the stock has cooled down, create entry. All right. Sometimes the stock doesn't even cool down. Like for example, the entry where I gave for Kotak Mahindra Bank, it didn't cool. It didn't cool at that point, but see, it was the moving averages were taking support and a golden cross was happening. That is why I entered into it. So you have to put every single thing into place to be able to interpret FII DII data. So please, you will be tracking now onwards where one very important thing is also when you track the FII DII data, like you see from which you will get to know which sector they are bullish upon. Like for example, I track the data, so I know they're bullish on biosciences like Suven Life Sciences or Geophic Life Sciences or the India Glycol. They're bullish on that. I know the FIIs are bullish on graphite electrode companies like Philips Carbon, Goa Carbon, Graphite India, AGG. All these companies they are bullish on, right? So once you understand the sector, they are like they were pretty bullish a few months back on infrastructure stocks, and the infrastructure stocks went up like anything, right? So keep track of them. It'll really give you quite an insight about what's happening, right? So this is FII DII data, and you can go to the nscindia.com and you can find out the number of stocks that have been purchased or those have been bought and sold, right? So you will have a complete data where exactly they are exiting the position and where exactly they are holding a position, right? So I think this is what I wanted to share you. I'll make a small video where I'll tell you how do you track the stocks which they are still holding or they are exiting from their holdings. I will try making another video on that aspect. So this is all about FII DII interpretation on Nifty movement and the stock movement.